Greetings, Dr. Raj, the guru of sex. Women who are constantly wet, meaning that their pussy is always wet, it's not an indication that they want to have sex all the time. There are some women who are constantly wet, and there are some women who are aroused and want to have sex are unable to get wet. So there's a difference with that. Also with men, there are some men, when they get an erection, the majority of men, when they get an erection, they want to ejaculate. They want to get that satisfaction. But there are a lot of men who wants to have sex, but they are unable to get an erection because they have erectile dysfunction. These are points to note. So wetness is not an indication that a woman must have sex or she wants to have sex. Whereas conversely with a man, when he has an erection, he wants to have sex. He wants to get that erection down. So you must understand these things with the human body. Now, let's look at it in a broader scheme. Women who are constantly aroused sexually, they may be wet, but they may not be wet for you. They may be wet for the situation. If you play your cards right and you do all the right things with the woman, you'll be able to get her to want to have sex with you. She may be thinking of something. She may have remembered a conversation. She may have remembered a person or some situation that causes her to be aroused. With the arousal, because it's a high intensity arousal, she starts to lubricate naturally. Her pussy gets wet. There are some women, when they are aroused, they want to have sex. They want the feeling of sex. They want to feel a penis inside their vagina. They want to get down into the fucking. But because of the dryness of the vagina, meaning they're not lubricating the way they should lubricate, it's difficult for penetration. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's something that they don't want to do because of what it does to their body. Meaning they want the sex mentally, but physically they're incapable of doing it. This is where sex therapy and other things comes in when you're dealing with women in that situation. Now, there are some women who can have orgasm very easily from touching themselves, from taking a shower and letting the water run over the clitoris or the labia, from rubbing the vagina against a pillow or the edge of the bed or wherever. There are many different things a woman can do to achieve that orgasm without the penetration. So if as a man, you understand these things, you'll be able to perform the oral sex and other things that are needed in order for the woman to have that orgasm. Because the orgasm is the end result. That is what she's looking for. The time span that it takes for the woman to achieve the orgasm is dependent on the level of arousal of the woman, mentally and physically. So, as men, we must take those things into consideration and be able to provide what the necessary things that are needed for the woman to achieve the orgasm, meaning the oral sex, the fingering, the kissing, the hugging, the things that you need to do in order for the woman to achieve the orgasm. With men, it's a different scenario. When a man gets an erection, it's an arousal and he wants to have sex. He wants to either masturbate in order to ejaculate or have sexual intercourse with whoever it may be. That's why with men, it's not emotional, it's a physical act. It's something that needs to be satisfied, meaning that he wants to just get that erection to go down based on an ejaculation. So men who wants to ejaculate, and a lot of men, majority of the men wants to ejaculate to feel good. There are some men who do not need to ejaculate to feel good. They can have mental and internal orgasms without ejaculating. Now, it is a learned behavior. If one learns Tantra and other forms of sexual practices, one will understand how to control that and be able to make that sexual encounter last as long as possible. Now, for the men who wants to have sex but are unable to get an erection, with women, it's easy to fake all these different things in order for they to get their satisfaction. With a man, you cannot fake an erection. It's impossible to fake an erection. Therefore, what do? There are some men who will use aids in order to get an erection or to help them to have the intercourse. There are some men who will use boosters and other things. Some of them will need mental stimulation. Some of them may need spanking. They may need other things in order to get that erection, or a partial erection in order to penetrate. Now, there's a technique for men who have erectile dysfunction that a lot of men don't practice. Once you're able to get an erection that is above 60% or around 60%, you can actually place the penis in the vagina, depending on the position. Now, you can't go into any fancy position. This is basically the rose fowl position, where the woman is lying on her back, buttocks elevated, a pillow under the buttocks, legs splayed, meaning the knees are close to the breast on both sides, and you can penetrate in that fashion. You can either stand on the side of the bed, or you can kneel between the woman's leg. Once the penis goes into the vagina and you start pumping in and out, you should be able to get some sort of percentage increase in the erection. So you can go from 60 to 65, maybe 70%, and you can enjoy the sex with the woman, and you can still touch the spots in the woman's vagina that will give her a level of satisfaction. But it takes a lot of practice for that to happen. Men who have erectile dysfunction, they sometimes give up. They're not interested in sex because they think that there's too many things that they have to do in order to get their satisfaction or to satisfy the person. And we all know that men like to get a turgid erection when they're about to ejaculate in order to enjoy it fully. They don't want the ejaculation or the ejaculatory fluids to just be seeping out. They want it to be pitching out, because with that pitch, you get a sense of satisfaction. The ropes that you pitch out, the amount of times that you ejaculate is also important. For the woman now, there are many ways you can assist yourself, and that is one being understanding of your body and your body needs, and where you need to touch and what you need to do in order to get that arousal, to have that intense orgasm that you crave. Touching the labia, touching the vulva, touching the clitoris, helping your partner along, wetting your fingers, even your verbal ability, the way you speak to your partner, the arousal that you give your partner based on what you're saying to the person, role playing, pillow talk, all these different things that you can do in order to excite the person more and excite yourself. Excitement in sex is what you crave and what you need to get that orgasm. Now, if you are orgasmic, meaning having orgasm multiple times with your partner based on penetration, that's a plus, because the level of arousal becomes more intense. You enjoy whatever is happening, and there is a connectivity between you and your partner, whoever it may be. If you're willing to work with your partner and he is incapable of getting a full erection, and you're there to encourage him, that also mentally helps him to overcome some of the ill effects of having erectile dysfunction, which is the mental depression that most men will go through when they are unable or incapable of having a full erection. So a one-night stand will not help in this case. What you're looking for is the ability to actually assist your partner and assist yourself in the process. So long-term relationships are better for this. Once you have established a relationship with your partner over many years, there is an understanding of the needs of the individual, and there is a betterment when it comes to the things that you're doing for one another. The patience has to come into this. You must be patient with your partner. You must be understanding, and you must also you have the ability to take on the role that is necessary for that person to enjoy the things or enjoy the sexual encounter. You become a therapist for your partner, and vice versa. Your partner become a therapist for you. So if the woman has issue with, let's say, for example, not having an orgasm or having painful intercourse and whatnot, and the husband or the partner is understanding, he can help her to overcome these things by the way he deals with the situation. Abuse, verbal abuse, saying things to one another that are going to be counterproductive is not the way to go. What you need to do is understand that there is a role and function of you as a person to your partner. There must be an understanding. There must be love and appreciation for the person. So these are the things that couples need to do, especially when they're in a long-term relationship, in order to enjoy each other fully. Thank you.